Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Fires pitch. Very happy to be here with the founder and CEO of Easee, Yves, a company we've already worked with for the past year and a half, and it's already the second fundraise on SeedBlink. So very happy to see companies coming back on with and to support them in their growth journey. So. Yves, without further ado, I'll invite you, to tell us a bit more about what you're doing with Easee, the story of the company. Also, what was the progress from last year to this year, and what you've achieved. And then in the second part of today's session, we'll also go through some questions and answers. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Hello everyone. My name is Yves Prevoo. I'm the founder and CEO of Easee, and my company actually has built a platform that allows people to do reliable and accurate eye testing from the comfort of their homes with just a laptop and a smartphone. And we've been on quite a journey already for for some years. Of course. What is key in what we are developing is that it's a software as a medical device, which means that we have to fulfill all kinds of requirements and regulations to do this and also accurately. And very exciting year since the last time we talked because we actually achieved some incredible milestones in the meantime. We, of course, continue to focus on further strengthening on online eye exam. We added some new features to this, such as a reading test, visual function assessment, and also an AI-powered pupillary distance measurement tool. And this will make home-based testing even more precise and more broadly applicable. We also got 3 new patents to bolster our technology, and I think in terms of commercial traction, we launched with our first eye clinic chain in a teletriage solution. We also had 2 really big publications in the field of cataract and child myopia. And I think today I'm quite excited because I can share already something that will be hitting the press probably tomorrow, and that is that we have a new publication in no lesser magazine than Nature that also further strengthens the robustness of our technology in the real world.
All right. Can you tell us a bit, how did you start the company? What's the garage story of it? Like, you're tackling a massive problem, of democratizing access to basically healthcare, and the question is, how do you start such a journey?
Yeah, it's interesting because my background was already in healthcare. I actually worked for almost a decade at a very large company called Pfizer. And in 2016, I really had the feeling that I could make more impact within a startup and really building something from scratch. And I was really intrigued by the fact that eye care is such a huge market. It affects so many people. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of digital solutions that bring eye care more accessible to patients at home. When I saw the opportunity to build something that could be scaled to maybe billions of people, I was really enthusiastic and dropped my corporate career to dive into this startup adventure, and I have no regrets since.
And can you tell us a bit more, also about the team that you've built around it? What are the main criterias of the people around you? How did you end up being here, basically, from team perspective?
Yes, and I think I would like to call it the triple PhD problem, because what we do is completely new to the world. So it's not like we can take some solution from the shelf. We have to build everything from scratch. And people that work with us, they need to understand optometry and ophthalmology, of course, and basically the medical conditions that we work in, but also the technology that we built. So it's really a tech company that builds highly scalable cloud-based solutions. And then thirdly, we're not just building a solution. We need to build a solution in a very regulated environment. So as a software as a medical device company that is ISO 13485 certified, that brings a unique set of challenges. So I'm very proud of the people that work with us, because you have to be basically a triple PhD smart person to overcome these barriers and help us create the impact that we currently have.
And tell us, can you also tell us a bit about, the competition? I mean, Bill, as you mentioned, you're building something that hasn't existed as of, in a mass adoption kind of way. So, and that brings specific challenges in various ways, but it also puts you in competition with incumbent solutions and rather, the way people approach things rather than direct competitors. So what's the market like, and who do you, compete against?
Yeah, it's a very valid question. So basically, you can look at where we are positioned from two sides. So on the one side, we have other like software solutions, apps that are in App Store that sometimes are able to deliver a visual acuity to a user. So basically saying, hey, you can see well or you can't see well. And that's been going around already for some years, but nothing really made it to the sophistication that we currently have, where we actually measure the refractive error of the eye in an accurate and approved way. And that's basically what sets us apart from all the other tools and gimmicks that are in the app and the app stores, Google Play Store. So that's from the tech side. From the other side, of course, the traditional way of doing eye tests is going to an optician or an optometrist or an ophthalmologist and doing an eye exam in the half there. However, that's not really scalable and accessible and not future-proof. And what I saw initially when I started Easee is something that I also recognized when I was working in Pfizer, is that most of these really big incumbent companies, they have a little bit of anxiety to change their business model too rapidly, because there's a lot of stake. And their business model at the moment is still centered around brick and mortar in-office eye exams. So to really let the innovation come in through digital disruption, I think that can only be done by startups like ourselves that disrupt the market in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us a bit more, also on the financial side of things, like where do you stand in terms of numbers, a bit of in terms of traction as of now?
Yes, so I think in terms of annual recurring revenue, we're currently at 300,000 euros per year, and especially next year we're expecting quite a big jump. And the reason for that is that we had a few really big publications being released or published in 2024, such as in cataract and child myopia, and the most recent paper in Nature, of course. And that will provide us access to really large and also attractive market segments that have a high unmet need. So, for example, in cataract, we know that it's the most performed surgery. There's a lot of manual work in there that is not very sophisticated. So, for example, if you had surgery, you have to come back 3-4 times to clinic for simple eye tests. That's something we can, of course, provide a very simple solution to, and provides us also a way to make eye care a lot more efficient and more accessible. Child myopia is another one. We all know the problem with children and screen time. So that has led to an explosion of people that are short-sighted. So children are developing myopia at a rapid pace, and there's a high unmet need. Currently, only 10% of all children that require myopia management are getting the myopia management that they need. Only 10%.
And in terms of milestones, you know, what are the key milestones from a commercial standpoint that you both, I mean, actually both from a commercial product and legal standpoint, what are the main KPIs that you want to achieve within, you know, within the next 12 to 18 months, also with this funding round?
Yes, I think this funding round comes at a really interesting value inflection point. So over the past 3.5 years, we've been working with the FDA on getting the refraction technology onto the US market. And that process is coming now to the end, and we expect approval in the next 6 months, which means quite a substantial value inflection point, and access to a market with 100 million plus eye exams on an annual basis. So for us, that's of course the biggest milestone that we currently have in front of us. And besides that, of course, we continue to grow also in Europe. And here, the biggest value inflection point we see is to get our product to profitability by the end of the year by focusing on implementation in child myopia and cataracts, so mainly in eye clinics, and that will get us to profitability.
Mm-hmm. And you touched upon the, you know, the last point, you know, getting into clinics, and I think that a lot of people, you know, question also the fact that, you know, you've built a tremendous technology, but how do you actually bring it into the market? Like who are basically, you know, who are your customers? How do you penetrate also a market like the US? Like there's the regulatory barrier, but how do you actually, you know, deliver the solution across, you know, across the market?
Yeah, so I think as you can also appreciate, we're a small company with huge ambitions. So when it comes to a go-to-market strategy and commercial scaling, we really focus on where, with the least investment, we can make the biggest impact. So we're really focused on B2B approach. So we sell our software as a solution to eye clinics and to optical retailers that implement it on their platform or in their electronic healthcare record system, and they can then help their patients or users, which allows us to scale rapidly and share some of the value, of course, with our customers. But I think there's such a high unmet need in terms of resources that we believe that this is for us where we can also make the biggest impact and the fastest impact with our solution.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us also a bit more about the, you know, the average contract value that you're looking at? What's the typical, you know, pricing strategy that you currently have? And who is the typical, you know, who is your typical client, like the size of it as well?
Yes. So as I said, we have to focus. So we typically focus on enterprise customers with a contract value of at least 25,000 euros per year. And normally we sign contracts of at least 12, but most of the time 24 months period, because of course it requires a bit of time to implement this and get the adoption and the users on our product. So we do want to invest in a long-term relationship with our partners. When it comes to the types of partners, then as I said before, we have optical retailers that implement our solutions that help their customers get quicker access to the question, do I need glasses or not? And of course, clinics in optimizing their resources and making sure that they can treat the most patients with the amount of finite resources that they have.
And in terms of you know, going international, you know, the US is a huge market for you, but are there any other, you know, countries that or barriers to entering new countries, or what's somehow the strategy for market penetration in any given new market?
Yes. So at the moment, we really focused also because last year the funding environment was not great, so we had to basically use our resources in the best possible way. So we really scaled down almost our international ambitions to 2 markets, which is the Netherlands. So we want to establish ourselves here, show what we can do, and demonstrate basically the proof of business in the ophthalmology market and child myopia market, and the US market. Of course, it only becomes real once we have FDA clearance, but we do have a very detailed go-to-market strategy in place. And also here, we have already established relationships with some of the key accounts, so we do expect to have rapid scaling, and that at the moment is all we do. And of course, there's still opportunities coming from abroad, and sometimes opportunistically we will entertain them, as any startup would do, I would say. But strategically, we are definitely providing the focus on these 2 markets first.
Mm-hmm. And so, looking, as the CEO of the company, how does the next 24 months look like for you? And where do you see Easee being, 24 months from now?
Well, we have an extremely big, hairy, audacious goal, which is reaching 1 billion eye tests. And so the market is fantastic in that sense that there is a big unmet need. There's a lot of people with vision problems. So in the next 24 months, we see plenty of growth opportunity. Of course, the US with 100 million plus eye exams, as I said before, is going to provide quite a big jump in our growth trajectory. So in 24 months, I would see that as a very big jump in our growth trajectory, getting to the 1 billion eye tests.
Mm-hmm. And how do your funding plans also, correlate with this need? So you're now, can you tell us a bit more, about this current round and what are the next funding plans?
Yes, so the current round is a pre-FDA round. So what we are trying to do is to really bridge all the way till we get FDA approval, and get sufficient money in, but not too much money in, to actually establish ourselves with FDA approval and some initial traction in the US, to then at the end of the year raise a much bigger round in the US to further fuel our US expansion plans. So I guess it's really an interesting moment to get on board, because the valuation is still very favorable in that sense, because the expectations, of course, are that when we hit our next value inflection point and milestone, that we would be able to raise a bigger round at a higher valuation.
Mm-hmm. And as any startup founder, I'm sure that the question has been asked, but how do you look also at the exit? When as basically all the investors also on this call are not only looking to support the mission, but also to get a return from it. So what are somehow your expectations, and how do you look at the topic of an exit?
Yeah, so the exit is always in our case has always been around the corner, in that sense that we have been under a lot of interest from large medtech and optical companies throughout our journey. However, we believe that for our shareholders, we want to reach the point of optimum value creation and impact. So we will continue as an independent company as long as we feel there's still plenty of growth that we can do independently. We still get the resources to do that, but of course there will be a point that the growth can be faster, and we do get an interesting exit offer to merge with a larger player that can help us expand faster globally. But that's not now for sure. And we definitely want to continue past the FDA approval first before we even entertain those kind of conversations.
Right. And I've asked about the plans, but now as a follow-up question, is what are the main things that also scare you and or you consider as a challenge from your position as a CEO of the company? So what are beside the exciting things, and that will be the follow-up question, but what are the things that scare you as of now?
Well, there's a lot of things that scare me every day or surprise me every day, and most of them I can solve. But yeah, on this growth outlook, of course, is looks very exciting, but I also know it will come with some growth pain, and it's going to be hard work. And conquering a market like the US is not going to be easy. I have worked for a large American international conglomerate before, so I'm not underestimating this. And we are definitely also already looking to investors, partners, talented people to help us to achieve our mission. Because yeah, I think that's maybe my biggest scare, that the opportunity is so big. We have such a big unmet need, but we continue to need the resources and the people to actually achieve it. So yeah, anywhere where we can get some support also from our investors, that will be highly appreciated, because I think we have a very powerful mission in making the world a better place.
And now, as a follow-up question is, what are the main things that excite you, in your current role? You seem to be talking a lot about the mission, but are there any, specific things that you care about within, while in the journey of building this company as well?
Yeah, actually, there's a particular example I probably want to highlight in that. So a week ago, we did our first school screening, and this was part of a project that we are doing together with an NGO and a health insurance company, and it's to help children that have vision problems but currently don't know about it. And if they know about it, the price of glasses is too high for these families to pay. So they don't have access to something simple as eyewear. And to me, that's shocking, because I don't live in a developing country. We are talking about the Netherlands. So even in the Netherlands, there's a large group of children that is currently not able to reach their full potential because they cannot see correctly. Well, if I can make a little bit of impact on that problem, even a little bit. I was there a week ago testing children myself. I tested 25 children myself. Then I think I will be already super proud of what we can do here.
And thank you so much for this. And now taking a step, maybe a bit into the product. Can you, just walk us through what's the typical engagement that the person has with Easee, and how it actually works? We understand the magic. We've talked about the FDA, we've talked about the company fundraising, exits, and whatnot, but coming back to the basics of the problem that you actually solve, what's the user journey when someone interacts with Easee?
Yeah, so it's very straightforward. So have you ever done an eye test yourself? Maybe in the doctor's
Yes.
office? Yeah,
Yes.
I think everyone has. So you do recognize probably the letter chart that the doctors have in the office. Sometimes it's just a symbol. So that's something to make it really simple. What we do, we brought that eye chart to people's homes in an accurate and reliable way. So the only thing you need is a smartphone and a laptop to actually do an eye test, like you're doing in the doctor's office. Your smartphone operates as a remote control. your laptop operates as a screen that displays the letters. And of course, there's a lot of magic in the background. We use the webcam to actually assess the light conditions in your room and the distance of the user to the screen and all kinds of other things to make sure that you actually have a reliable eye test. And of course, it's not just letters. There's multiple optotypes that actually allow our algorithms to predict a refractive error. But if you bring it back to its core, it's that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much for this. And I want to invite, people in the call, if they have any follow-up questions, to write them in the chat as a reminder. So the investment opportunity is live on SeedBlink until this evening. So no rush, but if I think this is the right moment, and the right opportunity to ask any specific questions that may arise. So don't be shy. But to be honest, so I've tested the Easee solution myself. So I actually used it to order my last pair of glasses. So I've interacted with the product and it was extremely easy to use. So I was a happy user.
Great, fantastic to hear.
Yeah. Well, last but not least, one of the questions that I like to ask the most founders is, what are the three main things that someone should remember Easee by and the investment opportunity in the company?
Yeah, so I think when we're talking about investing in a startup, then there's of course the excitement of the technology and does it work? Is it the real thing? So I think we've built something. I think that is not just an idea, but it's validated by certifications, patents, clinical studies in the most impressive journals. It's also highly scalable and addressing a problem that is so large, and there's so many use cases that you can think of. So the opportunity is also big. And then the timing is something that is quite crucial. When do you want to make the investment? Is the startup in the right time, in the right place? I think for us, luckily, these three things really align. So we see the underlying trends are all pointing in the right direction. To give you an example, your journey of ordering eyewear online and using our solution is something that is still very limitedly done in Europe. But in the US, already 35% of all prescription eyewear is sold online. And it's in the next years, it will surpass offline sales. So that's a really strong indicator that this is going to be a right inflection point and being in the right time in the right place. But lastly, and that's maybe the most important thing, is it's not just about the money. I think investing in Easee is also investing in an impact startup that really tries to solve a real world problem that affects the lives of billions of people.
All right. Well, Yves, on this, exciting note, I want to thank you for taking the time and, congratulate you on what you've built so far and the great company that, and people around you. So thank you so much for your time and what you're doing. And also, I want to thank the investors for joining. There's a last question that popped up, but to be honest, I will read it out because I'm not sure I know all the acronyms. So is your SAMD already CE certified under MDR or is it under MDD?
Yes, so we are indeed certified already on the MDR, one of the few companies. Yes, exactly. So that was a massive milestone, and that also paves the way for the future. It gives us also really big confidence in the FDA process, of course, because to some, MDR is seen as more difficult than the FDA. Well, we'll see what the outcome will be with the FDA.
All right. Well, Yves, thank you so much for taking the time again. As a reminder, so for everyone joining, you have the link to the investment opportunity also in the chat. If there are any questions, feel free to address them also on the campaign page. And with that, I want to thank you for everything and wish you a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.